I will never forget the day that I realized something I never thought I would say out loud. My business owned me. Now, at the time, I was convinced I was living the dream. I worked for myself, I set my own schedule, I helped people for a living. Everything looked like freedom from the outside. But then life delivered a moment that knocks the wind out of you, knocked the wind out of me. A moment that forces you to see the truth you've been too busy to notice. And for me, that moment came the day my mother's cancer returned. If you ever had life hit you so hard that your work, your plans, your entire sense of control just dissolves in front of you, then you already know where this is going. Hi, I'm Cindy, and I help people who help people, the ones who show up for everyone else, even when they are running on empty. I teach them how to build leveraged recurring income so that they can feel supported and financially safe when life blindsides them, like it did me. Because the helpers and the healers deserve freedom too, not just another thing to carry. And this story I'm about to tell you is the reason I teach what I teach today. The cancer was aggressive, fast, and this time it was terminal. There's a silence that enters your home when you get news like that. A bone, a bone deep silence where everything familiar suddenly it changes. It starts feeling so fragile. And when your parent is fighting for their life, your nervous system shifts instantly. You stop thinking, or maybe you even overthink, but you just love and you just show up. During those months leading up to my mom's passing, my entire world rearranged itself without my permission. My mom needed more support. My dad needed more support. They needed me. So I fulfilled the sessions that I had already had on the books, and then I closed my calendar. And just like that, the income stopped. Bills didn't stop. Responsibilities didn't stop. Life definitely didn't stop, but the money did. You know what? And I remember saying this to myself. I said it's fine, it doesn't matter. My parents come first. Of course they did. Of course they did. But the truth, there was only so much of me to go around. One night I was sitting at my office desk, staring at my laptop, just kind of like I am right now, knowing that I had to press pause on the life that I'd been living for years. And the house was quiet. The only sound was the soft purr of my cat, because she always knew when I was unraveling. They can just kind of sense that. I felt emotionally drained, physically exhausted, and completely unsure of how I was going to keep everything afloat. Now, I chose my mom without hesitation, and I would do it again 1,000 times. But underneath that fierce devotion, there was a whisper that it was saying, you know what? There's just got to be a better way. And that whisper stayed with me through every doctor's visit, every quiet bedside moment, every fading breath. And working for myself had given me flexibility, but not freedom. And I had never realized the difference until everything stopped. Because if you've ever built something with your own hands only to realize it collapses the moment you have to step away, I want you to keep listening. Because once I started talking to other people in my profession, other practitioners, other service providers, I realized something heartbreaking. My story, it was not unique. So many of us entered this work because of purpose, because of compassion, because we wanted to help other people. But the reality, so many of us are exhausted. So many of us are running on fumes. And so many of us just feel that guilt for needing to just step back and rest and take a deep breath. So many of us are terrified that the whole thing would crumble if we take a break. And as service providers, we hold this emotional space for everybody else, and we do it willingly. But caring doesn't pay the bills when life knocks you flat. So if you've ever felt tired, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or scared of what would happen if you stepped away, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not the only one. We feel like we're the only one in the moment, but we're not. And you're not failing. You're not disorganized. You're not bad at business, but you're simply carrying a load that was never meant to be carried alone. I see you because I was you. Everything changed the moment that I realized I had fallen into what I now call the service provider's trap. Here it is in one sentence. Your business only works as long as you do. That's the trap. Because if you stop working, the income stops. If you get sick, the income stops. If life blindsides you, everything stops. And we don't see it until a breaking point exposes it, like my mom's cancer. True freedom isn't choosing your hours, and it's not being your own boss. It's what we think it is. But true freedom is being able to step away when life hits and your business doesn't collapse, because life will hit at some point or another. True freedom, it's income that continues even when you're not physically in the room, not physically on a Zoom, not physically present. And you know what? When that clicked for me, a small light pushed through a very dark crack, and that light was hope. So I began asking myself different questions. What if my business could support me when I couldn't work? What if stepping away didn't mean everything crashed? What if freedom wasn't about working harder, but setting things up so in a way that they worked even when I couldn't? Sounds too good to be true. That realization changed the way I started building everything. It gave me something I had been craving for an awful long time. It was peace of mind. Not just as a business owner, but as a daughter, a wife, a friend, a human being. And that is what I want for you too. Because if your business collapses the moment you need rest, it's not a business, it's a trap. And if this resonates with you, if you've ever wondered why scaling inside a one-to-one model feels impossible, I put something together that just might help, and it's called the Service Provider's Survival Guide. It's a free guide. Inside the guide, I will walk you through 5 painful mistakes that keep service providers broke, and more importantly, the simple shifts that can help you break free from the invisible ceiling that no one's talking about. Completely free. And it might be the first step towards the freedom you've been craving without even realizing it, because freedom isn't about working more. Freedom is about creating something that works for you, even when you need to step away. So click the link in the description, download it, start moving towards a business that finally supports you and your life, not one that consumes it. And I'll see you in the next video.